Hi, welcome to my video on solving equations with fractions by multiplying by the LCD. Solve by multiplying each side of an equation by the LCD. LCD means least common denominator. Let's do a bit of recalling first. Recall, 8 times a half. 2 divides into 2 once, 2 into 8 goes 4, so we get a 4 times 1 is 4. 3 divides into 3 once, 3 into 9, 3. 3 times x is 3x. 5 cancels into 5 once, 5 into negative 10, negative 2. Negative 2 times 3, negative 6. 6 into 6 goes once, 6 into 12 goes negative 2. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Let's simplify each of these by what we call, when we're multiplying fractions, we cancel. So let's cancel the 10s, and we get 1 times 3 is 3. Let's cancel the 8. 8 into 8 once, negative 2 gives you negative 14. And let's cancel the 2 here because we're multiplying. 2 into 2 is once, 2 into 6 goes 3. 3 times x is 3x. 5 into 5 goes once, 5 into 20 goes 4, so 4 times a binomial. So it's 4 times x, which is 4x, and 4 times 2 is 8. 7 into 7 goes once, 7 into negative 14 goes negative 2. Let's multiply. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a 6. Notice when we're multiplying fractions, we cancel the denominator into the numerator. And in each of these, okay, pause the video and see if you can get these right when you simplify. Note the negative 8 is over 1, understood, so 4 into 8 goes negative 2, so we get negative 6. And the 4 into 4 goes 1. 5 cancels into 5 once, 5 into 15 goes 3, 2 3s makes 6. 9 into 9 goes once, and 1 times 5x is 5x. 3 divides into 12 4 times. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times x, 4 times negative 7. 6 cancels into 18, 3. 3 times 2x, 6x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So 3 times 2x, 6x. 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Notice the 3 is being distributed in through the binomial here. 2 cancels into 4 twice, and we get 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and 2 times 5 is 10. Let's continue. Multiplication property of equality. If A equals B, then to multiply each side by C, so we get C times A equals C times B. That's the multiplication property of equality, where A, B, and C belong to the real numbers. What if we have A plus B equals D? Then, if you multiply both sides by B, multiplying the left side by B and multiplying the right side by B is the same as multiplying up here with A and B on each side. And note that A, B, C, and D all belong to the real numbers. Now, let's practice this here. We're not going to solve. We're going to multiply each side of the equation by a certain number. So this one is going to, let's do A. Let's do this practice, and then you can work these out down here when you get the pattern. Let's take this equation and multiply both sides by 2. So that's 2 times 3 plus 4 equals 2 times 7. And notice I can go further. When I multiply both sides by 2, I can go 2 times 3 and 2 times 4. Now, remember, I'm not working them out. I'm not solving these. I'm just multiplying. So I'm multiplying both sides by 3. That keeps it balanced. Now, the 3 can multiply by the 8, and the 3 can multiply by the 2. So you can say negative 2 here, but because that's a negative right there, I'll just go the negative or subtraction up to 3 times the 2. So I'm multiplying both sides by 4. There it is. And so you go 4 times x and the 4 times 1. Just a pattern. We're going to use that pattern when we have fractions. Multiply both sides by 5. 5 times 2x. Oops. 5 times 2x. And minus the 3. And 5 times x. So 5 times 2x minus 5 times the 3. And with E, we have fraction, but it makes no difference. 6 times a half x minus 4 equals 6 times 1/3. So that's 6 times 1/2 x minus 6 times 4. Notice after you multiply both sides by 6, then I move the 6 times each of these by the distributive property, but I'm not working them out. I'm just showing you a pattern. So 20 times this equation, 20 times both sides is 20 times x plus 1 over 4, add on 2, 20 times x plus 5. So the 20 is multiplied by the x plus 1 over 4, and the 20 is multiplied by the 2. So if you can see the pattern, and again, we're not going to multiply, pause the video and you work these 6 out to see if you have the pattern that I'm talking about. 4 times 6, 4 times the 5. So the 4 is multiplied by the 6, and the 4 is multiplied by the 1. We're multiplying both sides of the equation by 2. Okay, that's done. And then we do distributive property here, so that's 2 times x plus 2 times 3. Multiply both sides of the equation by 4. 4x minus a half, and 4 times x over 4. The 4 is multiplied by the 4x, and the 4 is multiplied by the half. That's 1/2 right there. So notice, hopefully you're seeing the pattern by now. Multiply both sides by x. Multiply both sides by the 10. So I've multiplied both sides by 10. Now the 10 is distributed through these two terms. X, or 10 times x minus 3 over 5. 10 times x over 2. 10 times 3 is multiplied by both sides, so it's 3 times the left side and 3 times the right side. And 3 times 7x, 3 times 2/9, 3 times 5, and 3 times x plus 3. So notice now you have 2 terms here and 2 terms here. So after you multiply both sides by 3, the 3 is multiplied by these 2 in the binomial, and the 3 is multiplied by these 2 terms here. And number 6, we're multiplying both sides by 8. And after we multiply both sides by 8, then we put the 8 times each term. 8 times 4x, and 8 times 3/4, and 8 times x minus 1 over 2. So again, hopefully you can see the pattern that I'm going to use to simplify these equations. Well, let's go further and find the LCD. We practiced the LCD in previous units on adding fractions. This videos I did on fractions. Let's review it again. Find the LCD of each. The LCD of 3 and 6 is 6. A common denominator is what number will 6 and 3 divide into 6. The LCD of 4 and 3 is 12. 4 and 3 will divide into 12. Like the LCD is a multiple. LCD of 15 and 2 is 30. 15 and 2 will divide into 30. 10 and 5, the LCD is 10. 10 and 5 will divide into 10. LCD of 14 and 7 is 14. 14 will divide into 14. 7 will divide into 14. And LCD for 12 and 10, that one is a little bit rougher. So let's see. We used to do this, remember? We used to say that was a 2 times a 6, which was 2 times 3. So that was 2 squared times 3. And then we say 10 was 2 times 5. So we had to pick each factor. We had to pick a 2, a 3, and a 5. The largest exponent of 2 is 2. Largest exponent of 3 is 1. Largest exponent of 5 is 1. So we had a 4 times 15. So the LCD for these two is 60. We did this previous in videos by doing the prime factorization. Because if you didn't, you would have to go multiples of 12, like 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, and go. Multiples of 10 would be 10 times 1, 10 times 2. Keep doing that until we get a matchup between the two. But doing the prime factorization, reviewing the video that I did earlier on fractions, now it comes back that we can get the LCD of 60. 12 into 60 goes 5. 10 into 60 goes 6. So 60 is the LCD. 6, 4, and 2 is easier. We can see that 6, 4, and 2 is a 12, because a multiple of 6 is 6 and 12 and etc. etc. Multiple of 4 is 4, 8, 12. So 12 is the LCD for 6 and 4 and 2. It's easy to see. The smallest number that 6, 4, and 2 will divide into is 12. And again, we do want to do the prime factorization. But by now, if you're in grade 9, then you should know how to do the LCD of these small numbers. At 15, 3, and 5, the LCD of that is a 30. 30 is the smallest number that 15, 3, and 5. Oh, my mistake. I should have noticed that one. 15 is here, and 3 and 5 are factors of 15. So 15 is the smallest LCD for 15, 3, and 5. Practice means pause your video, work the 8 of these out to see if you can get the LCD, and then press play when you come back. LCD for 5 and 2 is 10. LCD for 3 and 11 is 33. Notice that 5 and 2 have no numbers in common, no common factors, so you have to multiply. 3 and 11 are prime, so we have to multiply to get the LCD, 30. And 9 and 6, the LCD for 9 and 6 is 18. 2 times 9 is 18, 3 times 6 is 18. Again, if you do 9 as 3 and 3, which is 3 squared, you do 6 as 2 and 3. So we have to take a 2 and a 3 because they're the factors that are here. Smallest exponent of 2 is 1. The largest exponent of 2 is 1. The largest exponent of 3 is 2. So that's 2 times 9, which is 18. So 18 is your LCD because 9 and 6 will divide into 18. 2 and 14 would be, let's see, that's 28. So 4 is 2 times 2, which is 2 squared. 14 is 2 times 7. So we have to have a 2 and we have to have a 7. The largest exponent of 2 is 2. And 7 is a 1, so that's 4 times 7, which is 28. 28 is the least common denominator, or the least common multiple, same thing. Only these are denominators now. 28 is the smallest number that 4 and 14 divide into. 10, 15, and 6. The largest number here is 15, but I need the 3. So I see a 45 as the LCD. And let's look at it. 10 is 2 times 5. 15 is 3 times 5. And 6 is 2 times 3. So I need a 2 and a 3 and a 5. And the largest exponent of the 2 and the 3 and the 5 is 1. So that's 6 times 5, which gives me, well, I looked at the 15 and didn't do the 2. So, my mistake, 30. So doing by the prime factorization, I get the 30. A multiple of 30 is 2 times 15 is 30, 10 will go into 30, 6 will go into 30. Sorry about that. I just jumped the gun there. And the least common denominator of 2, 3, and 6 is 6. 2 and 3 are factors of 6, so 6 is the LCD. 4, 8, and 3, well, I see an 8 has a 4 in it, so I see I need a 3, so that's a 24 is the LCD. And again, 4 is 2 times 2, which is 2 squared. And 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2, so that's 2 cubed. And we have a 3. So we have a 2 and a 3 as factors. The largest exponent of 2 is a 3. There's a 2 there and a 3 there, so we picked a 3. And 3 is only one 3, so that's 8 times 3. So 24 is the least common denominator for 4, 8, and 3. 6, 2, and 9. I have a 9 has a 3, but I don't have a 2. So I see 18 as the LCD. And again, if you break it down, 2 times 3, we have a 2. 9 is 3 times 3, so that's 3 squared. So we need a 2 and a 3. So 2 and a 3 as factors. Largest exponent of 2 is 1. Largest exponent of 3 is 2. So that's 2 times 9, 18. 18 is the least common denominator for 6, 2, and 9. Let's continue. Okay, now we're right to where we want. Solve an equation by multiplying by the LCD. So we're going to follow these steps. We're going to find the LCD. We're going to multiply each side by the LCD. And we're going to cancel the denominators, and then we're going to solve per normal. That is, we're going to move the x's to the left, numbers to the right, and continue. So, what is the LCD? The LCD is a 5, because there's only one 5. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5. Let's see what happens. So 5 times x over 5, 5 times 1, and 5 times 4. So the 5, notice the denominator cancels out here. 5s cancels out, so you just get 1 times x. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So x equals 20 minus 5. X is equal to 15. So when you have an equation with fractions and you multiply both sides by the LCD, the denominators will cancel out because all the denominators are factors of that LCD. Let's continue. The LCD for 2 and 6 is 6. 6 is the least common denominator. That means we multiply both sides by 6. The 6 is multiplied by the 2x, and the 6 is multiplied by the 2. Okay, so notice we practiced this just then, multiplying 6 by the left side, 6 by the right. Then you take the 6 and you move it in through the 2 of these. That means all your denominators should now cancel because each denominator is a factor of the LCD. So 2 into 6 goes 3. So 3 times 1 is 3x. No cancellation here, just a straight multiplication. 6 cancels into 6 once. 1 times x is x. Notice now, you have no fractions. So, move the x's to the left, change the sign. Move the numbers to the right, change the sign. Add 2x equals 12. Divide by 2, and I get x equals 6. Let's continue. The LCD is, there's only one LCD and it's a 2. So we multiply both sides by 2. Just take your time. And 2 times each side. Done. Now the 2 is multiplied by each of the terms on the inside, or each of the parts. So 2 times this phrase our expression, 2 times this expression, and then the 2 times the 6. So the 2's cancel out. 2 and the 2 goes once. So 1 times x minus 18. Negative 2 times x. And 2 times 6 is 12. Notice that you have no fractions because the 2 cancel into the 2 and we have no fractions. And we group our like terms. We simplify. Remember, I didn't have to do this. I could have added these up right away and got a negative 1 minus 18 equals 12. I didn't have to do this because I can see that 1 minus subtract 2x is a negative x. Now I have to move the 18 to the right side and make it a plus. Minus becomes a plus. So that gives me negative x equals 30. And that's a negative 1 understood, so we divide by negative 1. So we get x equals negative 30. D, the LCD for 2, 3, and 6 is a 6, 6. All of these numbers will divide into 6. So I'll multiply 6 by the left side and 6 by the right side. The 6 is multiplied by each algebraic expression that's on the inside. Just be careful. Notice I multiplied each side by 6, and then I multiplied 6 by each. The reason I multiply 6 by each term here, not that you have to do it, is you have to do it, but you don't have to show it. That when you have it 6 with each of these, then you can cancel. 2 into 6 goes 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 into 6 goes 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 into 6 goes once, and you get a negative. So putting the 6 through each of these terms, notice I got 1, 2, 3, 3 parts of this equation. So each part is multiplied by 6. Each part, that's multiplied by 6. 1/3 is multiplied by 6, and then negative 7 over 6 is multiplied by 6. So each of these are multiplied by 6. You can do this when you get used to it. You don't have to do this. Just multiply every part up here by 6. Multiply each part here by 2. This is what, when you get used to what you're doing, when you know what you're doing, multiply each part of the equation by 2. 2 times that, 2 times that, 2 times that. So that's a shortcut. Now that I have that explained, I will move the 2 plus 2 minus 2 on the other side. That's a 7. Better be careful, I'm talking too much. 3x equals negative 9, divide by 3, and I get x, they cancel out, x equals negative 3. The LCD for E is 2 and 4 is the only denominator, so 4 is the LCD. So I'm going to take a shortcut now. Nope, I better not. I'm going to go 4 times the left side and 4 times the right side. Now I'm going to multiply 4 by each part. So 4 times each of what's on the inside. So again, I multiply each side by 4 because it's the LCD. 4 times this, 4 times 3, I wrote it down. 4 times x over 4, and 4 times 6, I wrote it all down. Now the denominators should cancel. 2 into 4 goes 2. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 3, 12. The denominator should cancel. 4 into 4 goes once. 1 times x is x. 4 times 6 is 24. So notice, again I repeat, when you find your LCD, which is 4, you can go right to this step here. You can avoid this if you want. 4 times this one, 4 times this one, there it is. 4 times this one, 4 times this one. So this is only to get you used to the pattern. Once you know what you're doing, then you can avoid this step, especially if you're doing a test. Go right to this step. And then every denominator should cancel. If the denominator does not cancel into it to give you an integer, a perfect number, then you have the wrong LCD. Simplify each side. Done. Move the x's to the left. Move the numbers to the right. Change x is negative x, 16 is negative 16. X equals 8. Perfect. And the LCD for 5 and 6, well, 5 and 6, the LCD is a 30. 30 is 6 and 5 have no numbers, no factors in common, so you multiply them. 30 is the LCD. So I'm going to take a shortcut now. So let's multiply each of those parts of the equation by 30. Let's go right. I want you to know what you're doing. Multiply again. I didn't do 30 times this side and 30 times this side because I know what I'm doing now. If you know what you're doing, because you have fractions, multiply that by 30, and that by 30, and that by 30. Now, 6 into 30 goes 5. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 1, negative 5. Negative 30 times 3, negative 90. 5 into 30 goes 6. 6 times x, 6 times negative 2. We simplify each side before we do anything. If we simplify each side, we have less to transpose. Simplified. Now the x's go on the left, and the numbers go on the right. And I have a 4x here, and that's a 90, so that's an 80, 95, take away 12 is an 83. And 4 into 83 goes, it won't go nice, so it's a 2, so 4 into 83, and I got a 2 is an 8, bring down your 3 is a 0, so I get a 20 and 3/4, or 20.75, but it didn't work out to be a nice integer. Just make sure. I got a 12, yep, okay, that's a 90, yep, okay. Sometimes they work out nice, sometimes they don't, but we know how to handle that. We just keep going. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Most times you get good numbers. Now, we're on the last page, means you got to practice. So we have 8 of them here. So pause your video and work the 8 of these out to see if you're going to get the right answer. Follow the pattern we developed. Here we go. The LCD for 3, 3, and 12 is 12. Now we multiply 12 times each term. I'm taking a shortcut now. Really what I'm doing, I'm multiplying each side by 12. But rather than write that step down, I'm now going 12 times each side, but I'm putting the 12 with every term here. So I am multiplying by 12, but I'm not showing the first step, 12 times and 12 times. So I'm putting 12 times each part. Every denominator should cancel. Right. 3 into 12 goes 4. 4 times 1. 12 into 12 goes once, and I get a 10. So 4x equals 10 minus 4. 4x equals 6. Divide by 4, and I get x equals 3 over 2, or you can get 1 and 1/2, or you can have 1.5. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. They don't have to work out to be a perfect integer. And the LCD of this one, 5 and 10, the LCD is 10. So 10 times the first one, 10 times the second one, and 10 times the third one. I multiplied every term by 10. Now every denominator should cancel. 5 into 10 goes 2, 2x minus 4. 10 into 10 goes once, negative 1 times 3. 10 into 10 goes once, 1 times x. And we simplify, 2x minus 7 equals x. 2x minus x equals 7. X equals 7. Notice I simplify these two. Then I move the x to the left and the number to the right, changing the signs. Perfect. LCD for 18 and 6 is 18. 18 is a multiple of 6. So I go 18 times 18 again, and 18 again. So you find the LCD and multiply every part of the equation by the LCD. 3 into 8, or 6 into 18 goes 3. 3 times x, 3x. 18 times 2 is 36. 18 into 18 goes once, so I get x. And 3x minus x equals 36. The x goes to the left, numbers go to the right, changing signs. 2x equals 36 divided by 2. X is 18. Perfect. The LCD for number 4, I got a 5 and a 2. The LCD is 10. Remember, 5 and 2 will divide into 10. So we multiply each part by 10. Each part is multiplied by 10. I'm even going to multiply, remember I said each part 10 times, 10 times, 10 times, and 10 times 0. I'm even going to put that in because you got to multiply each side by 10. 5 into 10 goes 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 into 10 goes 5. 5 times x is 5x. 10 times 5 is 50. And 10 times 0 is 0. Yeah, makes sense. Multiply each part. Multiply everything by 10. Done. The denominators cancel. Perfect. Simplify. 7x minus, notice I'm adding quick, 7x minus 42 equals 0. I added these two together and these two together. I could have grouped them, but I know what I'm doing. 7x equals 42 plus, move the minus over, becomes a plus, divide by 7, and x is 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6. And number 5, the LCD is a 6. 6 is the least common denominator. So we multiply every term by 6. 6 times. 6 times. That's a x over 3. So I multiply every part of the equation by 6 because it's my LCD. And every denominator should cancel. 2 into 6 goes 3. 3 times x. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 into 6 goes 2. Negative 2 times x. And 6 times 0 is 0. Simplify. Add these two together. That's x plus 18 equals 0. And the 18 moves to the right side to become negative. Answer, negative 18. LCD, same pattern every time. I'm consistent. The LCD here is a 7 and a 2, so we have a 14. So I multiply each part of the equation by 14. 14 times each of them. 14 times each part. So 14 times this part, 14 times this, 14. And notice the negative is here. I left the negative right there and put the 14 to the left of this bracket. The 7, the 2, and the 14 will cancel. If they do, you got it done right. 7 and the 14 goes 2. 2 times x, 2 times 4. Perfect. 2 into 7. 2 into 14 goes 7. So it's a negative 7 times these two. Negative 7x plus 40. Negative 7 times x. Negative 7. Notice it's a negative 7 times negative 2. 7 into 14 goes 2. 2 times 5 is 10. All fractions cancel. Good sign you got it done right. Group your like terms, group your x's. Well, I'm going to make it short and add your numbers. 22 equals 10. So the x is okay, and the 22 goes to the left side to become a minus. 5x equals negative 12. Divide by negative 5, and I get x equals, that cancels, and that's a positive 12 over 5. And you can leave it like that, or you can divide and get a 2 and 2/5. Or 12 over 5, or 2 and 2/5. And number 7, now what we do here, if I have brackets, I should, if I eliminate the brackets, it helps me out. So a half times x, let's remove the brackets first. Half times 6 is 3. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. And 2/3 times 3, the 3's cancel. That gives me -2. Notice 2/3 times 3, the 3's cancel, I get a 2, negative. Now the LCD, I could have done the LCD before, but getting rid of the brackets like this, now I can see that I only got 4 terms to multiply by the LCD. So the LCD for 2 and 3 is 6. So I'll multiply 6 by each term. 6 times each part. Done. 6 times half x, 6 times 3, 6 times 2/3 x, 6 times -2. But the negative stays there and you just multiply 6 by the 2. 2 into 6 goes 3, 3x. 3 6s 18. 3 into 6 goes 2, 2 times 2x, and a -12. Move your x's to the left, change your sign. Move the number to the right and change your sign. That's a -x equals -30. And that's a 1, so we divide by -1. X equals 30. Perfect. And the last one on this page, the last one in this video, the LCD is 12. I see a 3 and a 4 gives me a 12, and 6 divides into 12. So I'll multiply 12 by each part. There are other ways to do it, but you'll find that a lot of teachers, consistent. When I see equations that have fractions, then I multiply through by the LCD and all the denominators cancel out. I have no fractions. So 3 into 12 goes 4. 4 times x, 4 times 2. Oop, that's an 8. Be careful. And 4 into 12 goes 3. So it's a 3 times x. 3 times 1. 6 into 12 goes 2. 2 times 5, x, 10x. 2 times 5 is 10. That's a negative. And we group our like terms. So 4x and 3x is 7x and 11. So we have both sides simplified. Done. X's to the left, change the sign. Numbers to the right, change your sign. So that gives me -3x equals -21. And I divide by -3. So x equals 7. Again, solving equations with fractions, find the LCD, multiply every part by the LCD, and all the denominators should cancel. Why? Because the LCD is a multiple of those factors. So every denominator will divide into and cancel out. That's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. So if you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell because there's more videos coming your way. And write a comment on my video if you're a subscriber. And visit my math website, mathfullyexplained.com. There you will find information on me, which has my degrees and teaching experience. You also have a section on videos telling you about the teaching strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And I also have a section on content. Most important is the units and the number of videos on each of the units. And the black font is what's online right now. And as time goes by, the red font will be changed to black font because I'll be doing more videos as time passes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.